Hi, everybody.
Oh, the wine is gone.
This is the first drinking episode of Ramblin' Down Rainbow Road. Thank you for joining me.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Ramblin' Down Rainbow Road. How do you like
Three
that?
times fast.
Ramblin' Down Rainbow Road. Ramblin' Down Rainbow Road. Ramblin' Down Rainbow Road. I win. This is my good friend and artistic peer, I would say, and supporter, and I support you, Melissa Vogley Woods.
Hey, what's up?
We are also with Stephanie Luning. How do you say her name? Luning. Who will be featured in another episode. So just keep an eye out for that.
It's coming up very, very, very soon.
Very soon. Well, I don't know when it's coming out. It'll come out at a time
Later.
in the future. Right now we are in Melissa's studio, so thank her for the decent lighting. And this is a brief glimpse of her work. Whoop. But check out the webs. Oh, sorry, in progress.
No, I don't care.
Work, so it's that exclusive shit. Also, this is probably going to be an explicit stream because I can't be bothered to try to watch my language.
Sorry.
Check out the link in the description for more of her work, and also anything else that comes up in the conversation. I'm going to tilt this down so you can see my sweet gremlin shirt. Alright, cool. So, Melissa, do you want to talk a little bit about your practice and your work? And, well, maybe not.
Yeah, I make all kinds of things.
Sorry.
Oh, we're also playing a drinking game where every time you say, I'm interested in, you have to drink.
Yeah.
But she didn't say it
So,
yet.
I'm not...
Oh, is it every time you say it?
Every time it's said.
Okay, so.
People could post, I'm interested. Oh, whoops.
There we go.
Sorry.
Because the stream is
My sips are getting smaller.
not a serious thing, and we like to put fun at the art world. And saying I'm interested in is like one of the key things to make you sound like you know what you're
It's a
talking about.
It's a go-to statement.
Sorry. So can you?
So, like an overview.
Little bio.
Okay, so well, I was born in Columbus, Ohio. My work is sculptural and painting and video, and it circles around areas of conflict and performativity of the self and gender a little bit. I use abstraction and figure, and there's no video games in my work. So don't be shocked when I lose really badly.
Yeah, we just did a run through. So
At this
she'll be
game.
fine. She'll be fine.
I did good. I think I did beat you.
You wanted to.
In my mind.
In spirit, in sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's in sportsmanship. And so my work kind of, I guess, yeah. Did I say what it went around? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit works within a framework of many mediums, but really, right now I'm looking a lot at Christian imagery and Christian Rome.
Yeah, you're doing
Christianity in Rome.
You're working on some like wrestlers drawings that are really interesting.
Yeah,
I really like those.
Thank you.
And
that's where the conflict and balance comes in to the work. So it's about conflict and balance and like working within and without and outside of stereotype, and then dominance and power and
fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
And I really fell in love with Melissa's work with some of her paintings that were like sort of abstracted paintings of folded blankets.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the folded blankets were kind of representing lost narratives and things that are like stored away. Perhaps like I was really looking at institutions' lack of representation in the gallery space and in museums and basically just lost narratives through curated histories that are always managed from the top down and erasing other people's stories. And from that, I get really obsessed with like this loss, kind of a loss in history. And so those are sort of rooted in that.
What was the quilting like collective or group that we talked about a while back? I would like to plug them or the history of them because that's like pretty much lost, right?
These bands?
Maybe.
Well, it was.
I forget.
I forget
Lost.
too. It's so
Forgotten
lost.
and lost. I'll try to put some info in the bio for that because as I remember, it's like sort of a woman focused like tradition of quilting and like stories like stitched into these quilts and like it's a very complex history that is often not talked about.
Yeah, and just women's work in general was always demeaned, and also, and unless a man did it, and then it was okay. It was like then usurped a little bit, like based in like still life and different histories. So that's really kind of like the root where I began. I didn't say got interested.
But you just did.
Well, sit. Okay, drink. Okay. It's where I actually entered the realm of like working abstractly.
Nice.
Was to use because I really just got tired of doing things that were direct, and I wanted to go into a more ambiguous space, and I wanted to deal with abstraction, and I didn't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I needed a vehicle to get there. And
Mm-hmm.
really, for me, all of the vehicles in my work are rooted in kind of realism, which is sort of surprising, but it's true. Like the wrestlers are really a vehicle, as well as arches that I have found in Roman ruins, as well as these altars, these Christian altars that are a big influence in my work, based in a material, but also like right now the images that are found in the altar and the actual altar itself. So that's actually like my most current situation is dealing with like thinking about these altars as a portal and a space between power structures and the personal.
Oh.
And it's sort of like where people really connect to this power structure, and they pull their entire personal, like their personal, everything is just forged up to this altar, and it stops, and then everything behind the altar is sort of like behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the structure of the power of this space. And I don't want to say anything is bad or good, but that I'm really interested in this thing between the personal and then the system. And so
you're doing your job.
Somebody's
Great
watching.
work. Great work.
The third person.
did Chet catch it? Interested in.
We won't need a TV
so-
tonight.
We're also streaming on Instagram right now in an attempt to gain clout for this whole project. So, and we call people loud. That's why. Hi, Shane.
Clout.
Clout.
Thank you for
Get that
joining
clout.
us,
Oh, wait.
Shane.
We need to
Shannon.
choose
None.
a lot.
I talked
Shannon.
to Shannon earlier today.
I can't see that far. I have my glasses on.
Oh, don't
I
even
just see
worry about
blobs. But
it. All right.
okay, so
Should we get into the gameplay?
all right, so now I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna beat Grace really badly because I have an innate sense of
Space.
space
And how to play games.
and yeah, vortexical.
Do you want to talk a little bit about? Wait, hold on. First, we should get this race started because
Let's do it.
that's important.
I want to go for the gold, low speed style. Is it possible?
Press those bumpers again. Yeah, it's possible to get the gold low speed. All
I
right.
want a low speed gold. I don't care what I look like, so I'm just gonna push the X.
You're that shy guy again.
Oh.
I'm going to. I want to play a different person every
Why
time.
am I shy?
Let's go for Luigi. Luigi.
I'm ready. Find your identity, Grace. Come
What does
on.
that mean?
What does that even mean?
Wait, what are you choosing now?
I'm choosing
Banana?
a course. Let's do this one. 'cause
Banana
it's
course.
cute.
Okay.
So can you tell us? Can you educate us a little bit about Scagliola?
Skyola.
Sorry.
The G and the
Skyola?
L are silent. Everyone know the G and the L are.
How do you spell it? In case people.
I
don't
can't
Google
spell it in my mind because
Okay.
I'm
I'll put a link to the Wikipedia.
horribly
article.
dyslexic. But it's we'll put a link. It's Skyola. It's CAGL.
Don't even worry about it.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But the pronunciation is Skyola, and it's a 15th century plaster technique that came out of Italy. And oh god, now I'm playing video games.
Came out of
And also in Germany.
Oh yeah, I know.
And so the technique was used to mimic marble and Petra Dura. And then it morphed into like its own art form that involved like, I want a banana. Oh, did I stop the game?
You press the home button on it. Don't press that button.
Oh,
Um,
sorry, y'all. I was just going for
Lady.
extra power. I was just trying to find.
you got that meta power that's outside of the game
How
power.
do I use my mushroom?
That's gonna be your left bumper.
Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, did you do that? I want to go in that power globe. So Skyola is a really old technique that actually has almost died out, and I mean I can count the people on my hands and toes who I know who currently know how to do it. It's really an art form that died out at the turn of the century. The
Which
last
century?
one, not
Oh.
this one.
Honestly, I wouldn't be
The
surprised
turn
if
of
it
the
was like 1700s, because I don't really know much about history. So
It is from the 1700s, but it died out in like the 1910, 1920. It lost a favor because of modernism, and people weren't that into that much decorative stuff, and it's very lush and gorgeous kind of art form. But I learned it, and I had to find an artist who made it. I would have used my mushroom and my banana.
Yeah, there you go.
I just and I had to track down a master craftsman. Sorry, I know Tim. If Tim Reitenbach hears me, he's gonna laugh. To teach me how to do it because it's not written down anywhere. And so I have been obsessed with it for a year. And I just got back from Italy because I studied it, and I learned a little bit of stuff from a new friend.
Thanks to GCAC, right?
Thank you to Greater Columbus Arts Council. Thank you, Greater Columbus, hashtag Greater Columbus Arts Council. And
I've
they paid for my last trip.
I've mentioned them a couple times in different streams, and they are sort of a linchpin to getting anything done in Columbus.
I mean, they paid for my last trip. They paid for the class that I took, and they paid for my 2 trips to Italy. And now I know everything. I know so much about Skyola because I went to the town where it was like one of the processes was like basically invented, and then I've met many artists that are still working. I mean, it's incredible. So I feel really connected to the tradition of the work, and then the connection of that to the altars and to the church and to this power system, and then so it's just really exciting process. I've never had anything that was so process based in my work before that really connected
You know a lot
conceptually.
about painting, though.
I know a lot about painting, but none of it. There was never a thing that was so like the material itself brought so much to the work. Like I've never like gone and traveled to study like any process. So this was the most. Did I have a raccoon on me? What was that?
I don't know.
I threw it somewhere. I got rid of my friend. So that's kind of like. Am I beating you right now?
Yeah, you are.
Shut the
I
door.
was gonna say anything, but
I'm gonna beat Grace today.
No.
Oh, do I not want to be by the head?
Yeah.
I thought the
Looks
heck.
like a big scary dog.
I thought it would give me some extra.
I appreciate the graciousness.
Is that you in front of me?
Yes.
Arr.
Um.
Oh no! Don't hit that.
So Skyola, if you have trouble looking at the link for whatever reason, it looks like. Wait, did I say it right?
It's Skyola. You did
Skyola.
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 That's all you want to remember.
It looks like marble, and it also looks like a marbled paper technique, sort of, but,
Yes.
but done with plaster.
Done with plaster, and all the pigment is mixed into the plaster.
Mm-hmm.
And
So it's dry pigment, right?
it's dry pigment, and then when you are manipulating it, it's wet, but you slow the drying process down so you can create stacks of color, and you can slice that color and lay it out, and that's how you make the marble. Oh, I gotta go this way. And then you can also make basically like slabs of marble, and then you can. Oh, is there a new guy on top of me?
Yeah, we're racing against like 12 people.
Oh, there's black ink.
Yeah, you gotta feel the road.
What?
You just gotta feel it out.
I just felt myself right into some giant head. I don't even know if I'm going the right way anymore.
A little man will turn you around.
Oh, thank you. But like a little man.
I should learn the little man's name because I talk about him a lot.
Little guy. Tiny. Wait, okay, so you asked me the material. Where were we? I went full vortex. I've got raccoons.
I was
on
just
me.
briefing like what Skyola looks like. In case
Yeah,
people
it looks
have
like
trouble.
fake marble, and you would never.
Well, the
I
purpose
kid
is for
you
it to not look fake, right?
The purpose is the original thought was like, wow, this someone we don't know who, but somebody like basically invented it and realized like, oh, if I do this, it looks exactly like marble, and so it was sort of like, okay, what do I do with this thing that looks like marble now? Well, where is all the marble? It's in the churches, so they took it to the churches and palaces, and they began to kind of sell it as like a thing that you can have in your, I can make your whole wall look like marble. It's a bigger, it'll look like it'll like outdo real marble.
Rip!
Oh,
okay. I didn't fall off the course entirely.
Don't fall off.
I thought it was gonna have to be like.
I don't even know where I am. I'm a little half zoned on my whole situation. I don't want to run into that head. I ran into it every single time. I'm just glad I can't.
You're just looking for trouble.
Yeah. Could I just intentionally run to the head?
If you want to lose.
Are you behind me?
No. Look at these little numbers.
I can't look at this and the map. I see the map, but
not the map, babe. The numbers in the lower.
I can't look at all that. I really want. I can only just like half look at where I'm going. I know I have buttons too, and I'm not even doing that. Okay, I finished. That's probably not a good sign.
Where is a good sign?
How do we do? Baby Daisy won. Is this you? Did you win number one?
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got skills.
I just put too much time into this already.
Too many interviews.
No, not even. I look forward to doing more. Has anyone said anything?
I don't know. I can't see it
No.
that far. So Skyola.
So that's Skyola.
Yeah.
What attracted you to studying wrestling?
I was in Rome,
Mm-hmm.
and when in Rome, you see a lot of sculptures, and so at that moment in my work, I was getting a little disenchanted with abstraction and feeling like it didn't have I was losing a connection, and I started. People who work with abstraction may feel this or think this. It's like I just started to feel like, am I just kind of like telling everyone my dream? Like I can make up anything I want? Is that just, do I just keep making up everything? And like, what is, you know what I mean? Like I just could invent anything at that point. And so I just really needed to think a little bit more about what the abstraction how I could make it a little bit more complex and kind of get a little bit closer to what I was sort of thinking. I was trying to pair what I was making with what I was thinking a little bit more directly.
So you think about beautiful young bodies.
Really, yeah, like bodies in tension. So to me, what I saw was I went to Rome and saw many sculptures that were sort of based on rape, actually.
Oh, yes.
And like men grabbing women's bodies.
Content warning.
Yeah, sorry, content warning. And put into like a really romanticized context. And
Big content warning.
Which really connected to the root of a lot of what I do, and I think of that stuff underneath. And I also have an interest in.
That's it. We got a drink.
Ah, interest. I did it. Sorry, you guys. You were just drying up there.
I was thinking about drinking on my own.
So this is perfect because like you can't die, and I can also just like really not pay attention to the game.
I mean, I can put all the bumpers on so you don't have to try if you want.
No, I'm trying.
Okay, yeah, it's fine if you try. You're supposed to not pay attention.
I have a red hot poker. So that actually got me to think about the actual body, and what I realized is that I wanted to put a hand, like a very big, fisty, grabby hand in my work, to sort of disrupt the folds, because the folds were starting to seem as though they were just really sort of in a peaceful state of rest.
You said like the blanket folds.
And the blanket folds were sort of representing being omitted from history, and so I realized that I wanted to make a contrast. So right now my work is developing more contrasts, and so that's where the hand comes in, the wrestlers come in, and I'm trying to like navigate a space between a little bit between like ideas and actual conflict, and the idea of conflict. So this is where it gets, because this is now talking about like really new work, and so I'm still sort of developing and working through this process, but somehow to me the wrestlers being in the work is giving me like a more contemporary, like current avenue into the work that is really influenced by ancient, like Rome and early Christian and Skyola. So having the wrestlers to me feels very current, because it feels like contemporary bodies. I have like the little unitard thing that they wear in in the work, and sometimes it's women wrestlers and sometimes it's men wrestlers, but it's always these bodies in tension. And something about the bodies in tension really kind of work with the fakeness of the stone. And so right now I'm kind of navigating through that. The fakeness of the stone, the idea of an altar, this bodies in tension. And my work is always about power and the misuse and weirdly distributed systems that creates, like the after waves of like the power system. And something to me about the arena of wrestling is that place, also an idea of fairness, I think is always really interesting to me, that we also perform, we roll through life think with under this like idea of fairness and the possibility for everyone, which is not there. It's just not there for everyone, and there's no fairness. And then I also like think about this, that we believe in our own possibility so much. We believe in our own possibility of like fairness, that we create these sites of fairness, like wrestling matches in an arena. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to take you down.
Yeah, false sites. And I'm going to beat your ass.
False sites of
fairness. We're rolling. Do you want to come in and do a cameo?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm ultra blasting you. Is that you ahead of me?
Yes.
How is that? Is there a turbo button?
No, you just have to use your items and use your boosts. Use your jumpy boosts.
Use your pasta boost, baby.
Oh!
No one knows, but I was in Italy and I gained like 10 pounds, and I call it my pasta boost.
A little voiceover by John Sherman.
It was John Sherman, filmmaker at large.
Filmmaker, director, another mentor of mine. A little bit.
Pasta boost. Did I just put the blood ink on you? Oh, okay. There's my. I think I'm doing pretty good.
What do you want to? What's your life been like? Because like art hasn't always been art has been a thing for you, right?
It has been a thing, but like I spent 15 years painting murals. So I was a little bit of a commercial artist for quite a while. I mean, I always made my work, but when I was 27, I was a single mom. I had a store in the Short North, and the Columbus people would know what that is.
Back in the day,
Short North, I had like a gallery/store, and out of that store/gallery, I sold friends of mine's work, and I ran a mural business, and I was self-employed for 15 years painting murals. I painted murals all over the place, and it was really great. Oh, and I at a certain point, like I think when I actually went to Dresden, I realized like I didn't want to keep painting murals. That I felt like I could really kind of start reinvesting in art and thinking about what I wanted to make as an artist. And at the time, maybe I was 42, and then I realized after Dresden that I wanted to go to grad school and kind of like really invest in that. And so it was a little bit of a late bloomer kind of situation in contemporary art. I always made my work, but I was never super engaged in what was going on. So I mean, grad school was just a major. It was a little bit of a shock, but also like there was a lot I didn't know from just being in the commercial, really kind of being more. It wasn't commercial art, but like really, yeah, just kind of basically being more.
So did you have like a sort of academic learning curve then?
It was a real struggle, and I learned a lot, and I think I got up to pace. I always feel like I'm still kind of getting a little bit up to pace. Plus, I had like 2 kids at the time, and it was just a little bit of a struggle. But like, I learned a lot, and I realized that like you always have your intuition in art, but then you don't have the language. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like you may not have the language, and you may not have the history to back up your language, but you've got the intuition. So I always felt like I did have the intuition, and it's a longer amount of time to kind of get the language and figure out how you can explain what you're doing. Yeah. And when I look back at my work, I've always been dealing with the same themes, but that now I get a little bit more into art history and ways to deal with my themes, and there's personal things in my themes too that I usually don't talk about, but
you don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, and I feel like I've come to a place where I'm much more comfortable with my work, and so grad school definitely helped with that. Even though at the time it was like a little bit of a shock to the system.
Mhm.
You guys did good.
I think
It was
you did
really
great,
fun.
too.
It was super fun. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was hard as hell. That's what it's
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
crazy.
All these young kids complaining these days.
I know. I could, it's like, wait till you have 2 kids. You get a grad school.
Yeah.
That's my trophy, right?
So like. Yes.
I'm really interested in that
yeah.
trophy. What?
Oh, shut up. You're out. You're not even drinking.
Oh, I have one little bit. We should have got a refill from John.
Oh, John. Text him.
I don't know.
It's right
Oh,
there.
yeah. I think this makes all the wine.
I would be interested once you send that text.
What?
Oh shit.
You could just give me a little of yours.
Yeah.
This is how you get alcohol from your friend.
Chad also has some rosé. He said he's totally up the.
Chad,
same
come
alley.
over.
Get your rosé butt over here.
We do a curator.
I see waves, but I can't read who's it from. Through the looking glass.
John will take care of this. I want to hear more about, after you send that text, more about your experience trying to like overcome that hurdle in academia, because that's what I'm trying to like do with this whole project, is to help people like realize that if they're also facing a similar hurdle or similar difficulties, that they're not alone, and that like it's okay to feel insecure, and that like, art doesn't always have to be like this heady academic stuff. And
and
stuff like that.
so,
But we gotta keep playing.
okay. With love. Well, I think that, I don't know if it's just my age, because I know I'm really proud of like almost being 50. Like very soon I'll be 50. It's awesome. But I think that like I've just come to realize like I'm just gonna make my work. So I just really need to make the best work that I'm gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't necessarily compare my work to other people. There's other people's work who I really admire, and I just don't work that way. I just really don't work that way. So I just really can't. And I really just have to work the way that I work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I may not have a lot of peers. Like I feel like sometimes I don't have a lot of peers here, because I just feel like a lot of people here work in a certain way that I don't really work. Like I feel close to some people, but like you have to be honest to the way that you make work, and as you get older, it's easier to like really just to do that, because it's the only way, because I really want to work all day every day, and that is my goal. And so my goal is not to be a professor and to be in academia and to write papers and to write articles about people. Like my goal is really to just make my work and understand my work, and I feel like that's the best thing I can do, to deliver like whatever it is I got.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. And it's a real challenge when you don't have really direct peers, and you don't see, you can like feel like people don't understand what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and you can also feel like, why am I doing this and what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And do I have any peers? And honestly, this is weird, but like I feel like I have found a lot of peers on Instagram, which is kind of
That's
crazy.
not weird. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, and I've like literally met people that I would never normally meet, but like I can see more peers that work maybe how I work, and maybe they're not here in town, but like I can see them in other places, and then I'm like, this is how I work,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can really get into some, I feel like I've taken this turn into this very craft-based, which is like I actually used to do more quilts in the past, which is also
Mm-hmm.
craft-based. So I've gone in and out of contemporary work a little bit. But yeah, I think you get to a point where you start to, that's the best thing, you just have to make what you make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a challenge. But and when you're younger, I think what's funny, this is a funny thing, it's like when I look back at any work that I made in the past, it really goes with what I do now. So it was actually all connected, even though I was deeply confused as to what I was doing at the time. Like when I look back even into college, look back into after college when you're in that weird phase, where you don't.
Weird face
You're
is
painting
totally
really
okay.
ugly
Don't
things,
even
and you're
worry
like,
about
I'll
ugly
never
face.
be. I don't know
It's
what.
like another adolescence.
Yeah,
It's
and you're
fine.
like managing a health food store, and then you move to Mexico. Okay, well, I'm now talking about myself. But like, you know, like that work, you look back at that work and you're like, oh, it's like a little they're little diamonds when you're older, because it's like really, you're like, oh, it's all in there, and I just didn't even know what it was. I just thought it was totally weird. Yeah.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, and
I
you're like,
totally
wow,
agree.
okay, like I've always been on the same trajectory, and I'm right where I need to be, and I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
Yeah, and it gets I like, it's so hokey because I tell my kids this, but I'm like, it gets easier when you get older. So
Yeah,
just get older.
You have more experiences, face more adversity, like have more experiences and like ideas to draw from that you find are consistent and stuff.
Yeah, and but do know, like, also that when you are working on your work and you feel insecure about it, that you're actually exactly working on your work. I mean, that sounds dumb, but like, does that make sense? Like, even if you don't understand what you're doing, you're really processing things, and you'll understand. Like, I feel like right now I'm processing this new altar idea that I will understand like in a year. Mm-hmm. Like, there's going to be a little bit of a delay before I like really suss out exactly what that's about. Mm-hmm. But I know that there's an interest. I have this weird interest now in the altar form, and now I'm going to spend this time like just making whatever I make, and then thinking about it and kind of sussing it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Are you ready for me to like
let's play some
kick your
video
butt
games
now? Okay.
I'm ready for you to.
I'm gonna actually like be this monkey guy now and take you down.
Okay, that monkey guy is pretty heavy, so he's gonna run slow. But
okay, what about like this? What about this thing?
I don't know about those guys.
What about the dolphin? No, that's not. What about that?
That's also not a dolphin, but you can totally play as Toadette.
Okay, I'm going crazy, Banshee.
Yeah, Shannon liked King Boo. Someone liked King Boo.
All right, let's do King Boo. I have to X. That's my inner personality.
King Boo.
Maybe.
I just used the back.
Yeah, get out of here.
John said, "It's finished."
What's finished?
The wine.
No.
Oh no.
Chad, come over. Where's
Chad, bring rosé.
Chad, we need you. We can't play another round of this game without wine or Stephanie's.
Okay.
We're doing 2 recordings tonight.
Oh yeah, we are.
Through the 4th wall and looking.
Should I say beer?
If you have any in the basement, don't make them go out and get stuff.
No, we have beer.
Yes,
we have beer in the fridge.
Do that.
I think he just he's gotta look. He'll see it. He'll find it. Lightning bolt.
I haven't played this before. Do you want to do Lightning Bolt? Because there's a Rainbow Road and Lightning Bolt, so the titular Rainbow Road. Mm-hmm.
The what?
Titular. Meaning like in the title.
I'm like, what's that word?
Scott Ackerman says that a lot on Comedy Bang Bang, so I picked that up.
I'll be working that into my vocab.
This is really great Instagram live content because our glasses are right in our faces. Hopefully y'all can hear us.
Hopefully we'll find more alcohol, and hopefully we'll say interesting again.
But you didn't say the phrase.
Yeah, I did.
It's important that you say that specific
Okay, this
phrase.
time I'm gonna like legit keep the track. While you ask me.
I could think.
How many pets do I have?
Cool.
Did I hit a weird button?
Yeah, you did. Press that plus button again. How many pets do you have?
You want to ask me about my pet?
How many pets do you have?
I have one, but and a quarter.
You have a quarter of an animal?
I do.
Or is it a different kind of pet?
It's just quartered.
Oh no! That's so. Oh, speaking of like vicious medieval Catholic shit.
Oh, there was some crazy medieval stuff in there. I saw the torture. Okay.
You have a python, right?
I have a ball python. Dunya.
Why
did it turn around?
Why? Because you were going the wrong way, so he turned you the right way. That's the little man. He's there to save you.
Do I want to go through the spelling part?
Yeah.
Why do I never do so good?
Because you just need practice.
Okay.
See,
just like in art. What?
Exactly! That's the whole point of this! Practice and humility and curiosity and asking questions.
That's the best. Nothing.
And also me being the best. Some ego boost for me.
You got an ego boost with
my
your...
ego possibly.
Where's my ego boost?
Possibly.
Oh, I've got like marbles and things to throw.
So, what else? I mean, we were in a band. I don't really want to.
We were in a band.
We were in a band. It was a goofy punk band. It was a good time.
It was really good, and Grace was the best lyricician. Is that a word?
Lyricist?
Lyricist?
I think.
I kind of like
Maybe.
lyricician.
I like that. It sounds like mortician or like something clinical.
Oh, I think I'm going the wrong way. We were in a punk band. Grace sang all our good songs, and I.
No,
played
Vika sang an amazing song.
Grace. Oh
Don't
yeah, and
forget about
Vika. And
Vika's
Vika sang an amazing song.
song.
That was a great song.
Yeah, I was talking with Shannon about community, and we were talking about Band in a Hat and also Girls Rock.
Yes.
Well, we weren't talking about Girls Rock, but we should have. I'll include a link for that in her video. This Girls Rock Columbus is this really cool summer camp that started to teach girls and like non-identifying people how to play instruments and how to be in a band and write songs and organize a show and all this good stuff.
Yeah.
And
And get together and just be together.
just be together and like be in a positive environment around traditionally like masculine sort of and to like affirm each other in a traditionally masculine environment. Like the punk show in a basement is like a whole thing. Like punk shows are pretty PC these days, but I went to a show a little while ago where this dude was just like moving and pushing his body all up on me and like was so pissed.
And they feel like they've got this free reign.
Yeah. I never went to that house again. I was like, screw that place.
Yeah. I mean, you feel kind of like that's a place where you don't belong, so you don't like allow yourself to go into that space and also be like and give a voice to that space and like actually sing and say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Which is in your voice is the thing that we should be hearing, you know?
Whoa,
the people that are like,
made first.
shut up, did you?
Sorry.
I'm not even there yet. I'm like, I don't even know where I am. There's mushrooms circling me. Is that good?
Yeah, those are good. Use those to go faster.
Are you now waiting for me?
Yeah, but don't even worry about it. See, you moved up a place. Good job.
I pushed my turbo.
Yeah, you gotta use those turbos. CCAD, I don't know. I'm thinking about grad school.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way about media studies. That it's like the culmination of everything I've been interested in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally into people going to grad school. I'm like, yes, do it. I like the idea that you take some time off before you do it.
Yeah, right.
That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go straight through, but I feel like there's a lot you can get. Oh, are we playing this?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Because you can also
bring
more to the classroom and to the table and to the conversation.
And you feel a little bit more confident and you can handle.
Yeah.
I mean, grad school is about asking. They basically are like, why do you do what you do? And if you don't know what you're even doing to answer that question, you're really behind. Like you need to know a little bit of why you're doing something and what you're doing, and they're there to push you. They're not there to like nurture you necessarily. So you got to be ready, and if you want to go to another level with your work, you got to be ready for those questions. And maybe while you're in school, you may not even be ready, but you know that there's gonna, in 5 years after you go to grad school, you're gonna digest everything that you had no idea what the hell people were telling you. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little bit. I had a bit of a, like I was just a little bit overwhelmed, but I feel like at some point, did I beat you? Okay.
You're close though. That was my bomb. You're that close.
Was that your bomb?
Mm-hmm.
Is that you right there? No, there's someone else there. I see a turtle guy. Oh, I just blew somebody up. Sorry. So, I mean, any challenge is a good challenge. It's easy to do one thing and then repeat it.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like sometimes you can get comfortable in a situation and then just repeat that situation. Okay, so I have to however, sometimes it's difficult to repeat as well. So if you do something and you want to go to full scope, like on one thing, that requires a lot of repetition.
I don't know. I wasn't totally paying attention.
It's really hard. First, I'm gonna bomb you with this fire
Do it.
blob. I don't know how to let go of it though.
No, you don't let go. That's a multiple like release thing.
Damn. Are you in front of me? Are you the caterpillar or ladybug?
No.
Oh, you're way ahead of me. I'm gonna go through the storm. I guess I don't know what my point is with that. Now I forgot what I was even saying. So I'm trying to get
This is the content I want to refute the stuffiness and the monotony of the artist.
You just gotta do like okay. You know when you're on repeat when things are easy and you're like I'll just make another one of those. Like that's when you're like okay I need to figure out why am I doing this? I need to question myself because it's too easy. Everyone knows I do this thing. It's too easy, and I just can't do it anymore. And that means that you need to do something new, or that you're not like creating a question for yourself. You're not like making a place for you to explore. It's like just repetition. But then again, here's my then again is that sometimes you can repeat people. Like some people do the same work over and over again, and every time they do it, it's like slightly different, and you're just constantly amazed at like the scope for which they're bringing within like a minimal gesture, like minimal shifts between one thing to the next thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
So there's people that like they may look like they're doing the same thing over and over again, but they have these really interesting little shifts, which are it's different. Like I make bigger shifts in my work, but that's just like how I work. Some people have a shorter, like their shifts are more minimal, but that there's no. So that's where like when you're talking about those ideas, like make changes in your work, always do something new. It's not, you can't make that blanket statement across everyone's work necessarily. Because some people like they may spend 30 years on the same still life, and that's amazing because then you find all of the vortex and all of the universe and like these little moves.
I love
so that was a statement and a non-statement.
I'm
interested in that.
Would you?
Too bad we don't have any more alcohol.
Feels like college.
I know. I said beer, and there's no response.
Why? We'll just have to do it again. You don't have to do it.
I'll get beer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Since it's the German version.
Yeah.
Might as well have
beer.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And watch a soccer game.
Dude,
during the interview.
we could. We could just
probably some team
throw in all kinds of games and ideas. Melissa?
Hi. Instagram. Okay.
Would you call yourself an educator?
Yeah, I guess I am. I feel like I'm more of a I feel like I'm more of a mentor. Like I feel like I develop personal relationships with a few of my students. And I really enjoy teaching. Oh, are we playing? This is a great game. You can kind of like.
Yeah, I put on like autoplay, so if you don't pay attention, it'll still go.
It'll still go.
But it's not fun. It's not good content.
Can I shoot things still?
Yeah. You just don't have anything to shoot right now.
Okay. I'm gonna take charge. I have arrived.
The artist is
have.
present.
Oh, it saved me. Look, a little ice cream cone saved me. Now. Yeah, thank you, ice cream cone. How do I not get killed by hot lava? Is there a jump button?
Yeah, that hot button.
Okay. I have been an educator, and I feel like maybe I would like to take a break from educating. Although, like, I feel like I am more of a mentor. So, that sounds weird.
That makes sense. It's like a different style.
You know, I feel like I feel like I like to guide people, and then I tend to have longer relationships than with people after when they leave school sometimes, which I think is cool.
Sorry.
I like that. And then I keep in touch with people, and but I do love to teach. So I have a lot, like, I'm trying to keep a balance between teaching and my practice, which for me does not go really tightly hand in hand. Because my work is really hands-on, and I want to be in the studio every day, and it requires a lot of time, and So that's where the teaching also requires a lot of time.
And yeah, and like I think people don't understand how much time it takes.
It's a lot of time.
It's like lesson plan.
And it's also like really trying to think about like what am I gonna say to the student, because I want them to know that what they're doing is great, but I want them to know that they need to do more on it, and I don't want to crush their dreams. Like, how can I? So
well, you said more rather than better, and I think that's an important way.
Yeah, and the thing is, I see the little nugget of what could be so good in their work, but I can't tell them do this. So then I have to say, just
or you could, and I've had professors who do tell you what to do that explicitly, but then that just doesn't end up working.
It doesn't work because then the student feels like they're just taking your idea, taking the professor's idea. Which is actually, the professor would never have thought of that. They're riffing on the student's work. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, I'll see in my student's work, oh, it would be so great if they X, Y, Z and did this. But I can't really say, like, oh, you should X, Y, Z and do this. So I just have to hint at it. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, I personally would never think of that idea. Like, I'm just riffing on their work. You know what I mean? Like, where am I going? I've lost control. Oh no, the ice cream cone head. Did you already finish?
Don't worry about it.
I'll wait on you. You're such a good co-player.
I love video.
Okay.
No, it's just us.
So yeah. I think I'm an educator. I think I'm ready to take a break. So
yeah,
at some point, like I'm scaling it. Like I still have a foot in the game, but less. I'm doing less time doing that. Yeah. So I think that is a better match for me. Because I spent a long time not putting everything into my work, having the mural business, having the store, curating, and then teaching. And now I'm ready to like scale back all that stuff and just work on my work as much as possible, as much as I can.
What are some? I don't know if I want to go into like, what have you learned in your life as an artist, or if I want to go into like, what's a really cool like performance you saw one time.
I'll be back because I don't remember any names. I think that like, I'm always, one thing that I've learned is like, a lot of times when there's something that I don't like, it ends up becoming really influential.
Same.
To my work.
I'm so motivated by stuff that pisses me off.
Yeah, I'll see something, I'm like, what? And I'll be mad about something, or I'll be upset about like someone's idea of a thing, and then that did I just turn around? That will stick with me, and it's really funny. So I think that's good because it means you're being influenced by things that are outside of your personal taste, which I think is important. Mm-hmm. So, like this Skyola, a lot of the altars, they're not like they're not to my personal taste. So that's where I feel like I'm on the right track with that because I'm not interested in them. Oh, drink, everyone out there. I'm not like into altars because I'm super into the look of them. So that's where I know there's something else in them that I need to discover, and why am I interested in them? Why am I like spending so much time going to Italy and taking obsessive pictures of every church I can find, and why do I get so excited when I see them? When I don't personally think they're beautiful. Like, they're beautiful, but like they're not my aesthetic. So I think that's a clue that you're on a good path. That's when you see something that is puzzling to you, that sticks in your mind, and it challenges your thought process. It makes you question things that you thought were so, and I think it only makes you a little bit stronger as an artist, and it broadens your work a little bit. And looking back at history, I think broadens your work. I feel like with my work, I try to think of projecting forward into the future. So I always think of like the key point is like now, and it's never set. So now is never set. Can you throw that at me?
No, I bumped it.
I don't even know where. I'm trying this new lever.
Lever?
I don't know. There's a new lever on. Oh, is this a vortex?
Yeah, that'll make you go fast.
Hey,
This is a close race. You're gonna beat me.
Maybe I'm getting better at this.
Oh, cross that line! Cross that line! Nice. Good work.
What?
Good work.
Oh my god! I
You
just
beat me.
once. With kindness.
With kindness. Didn't care.
Okay. And I don't remember what we were talking about, but I think it was good.
Well, I was thinking about it as like mindfulness and paying attention to what you're paying attention to.
paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Because a lot of times, like you'll, and also not discarding things that just stick in your mind. Like if something sticks in your mind, there's a reason, and then you got to decode what. Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
What is it? What is anything?
And it takes a little time to figure it out.
Mhm.
And it's okay that it takes time. And it's also okay that you don't know what it is.
And like give yourself that time. too.
Yeah.
Like work every day, but also like take a minute to take a step back and take a look at what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's about it. We're almost at an hour.
Thank you, everyone, for watching me beat Grace.
Pull
It was
her down the end.
I tried to like make it like I let Grace win a lot in the beginning to make the final where I finally beat Grace at the end. So satisfying for everyone.
Really, really, we should have played it up more because that was a whole epic right there. That was a whole thing.
This was the first video game I played in like
You guys should like go to barcades and stuff. Well, this could be a weird environment, but the Switch is good for like family fun time too. I should. Be
I think
Switch.
Polly would be up for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Polly
I
should
think
definitely get into
we
video
could
games.
Yeah, I think it's time. I feel like we could start with maybe Pong.
I can recommend some games. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks
you for doing this.
having me. Thanks, y'all,
Thank you for
for
doing this.
listening.
For sponsoring.
We
the
will
line.
spell Skyola somewhere.
And put some articles to that, and Girls Rock, and your work, and
Yes.
when I re-listen to this, I'll text you.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, bye.
All right, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.